Hi, I'm Andrea Deere with the Whole Kit N Kaboodle. Today's question is from Andrea in Winter Haven, Florida. Andrea asks, what liquid glue do you recommend? To answer this, let's briefly talk about the two types of adhesive, liquid versus dry. Gone are the days of white glue and rubber cement. If your adhesive has a strong scent, you shouldn't be using it. An adhesive is such a personal preference, it's going to depend on your hand size or your grip or maybe even your budget. So obviously my tips today are going to reflect my own personal preferences. Dry adhesive simply means a non-liquid glue, and when it comes to dry adhesive, my preference is the ATG gun. And the reason why I love this dry adhesive is because this refillable tape runner lasts so many pages. So since I am scrapping on a daily basis, the least amount of times I have to change this adhesive gun, the better for me. So to me, it's great if you're going to a scrapbooking weekend retreat, because again, this little thing goes such a long way. Though I do realize that this large thing is quite cumbersome for a lot of scrapbookers. It has a trigger that has to be pulled simultaneous, and that grip can be difficult for some. So dry adhesives such as these tape runners work just as fine as well. Dry adhesive also includes glue dots and 3D foam. I always have multiple sizes of each of these products, so depending on the project, I'm all set with what I need. Because if you look here at this Mickey die cut, I've used all sorts of different sizes of our 3D foam. Always use dry adhesive for your larger pieces, your pattern papers, and your solid cardstocks. This includes your photos and photo mats. Dry adhesive is used on larger surfaces because it doesn't warp. A larger surface is any size of surface that your tape runner can easily roll over. Check out what I mean with this little rainbow die cut. I'll talk about liquid adhesive here in a minute, but I wanted to show you how I intermix the liquid adhesive with dry adhesive even when it comes to the smaller die cuts. Now sometimes you have to use liquid adhesive because of the size, and remember I said you want to use your tape runner when it's an image large enough to run your tape gun. So here with our clouds, they are a little bigger, so I am going to use my ATG gun or dry adhesive to adhere those larger pieces to our die cuts. I do that because liquid adhesive can warp. Dry adhesive is best on the larger pieces because it has a tendency not to warp at all. So anytime I could use the dry adhesive on any of the pieces, that's always going to be my preference. All right, the question at hand. Let's talk liquid adhesive. If you've followed me for very long, you probably know that I have always been a Helmar girl through and through. And it probably is that comfort level. I started out using Helmar when I started in the industry, and so I've been using it for 20-some years. I love the consistency of it. I love that it dries absolutely clear. And I love that a little bit goes a long way, and a bottle this size can last forever. However, through COVID, this is an Australian-based company that stopped shipping to the United States. So now that my bottle is about to run dry, I have had to switch to a brand new liquid adhesive. So I tried out several adhesives, and I know that one of the #1 liquid glues out there is the art glitter glue. For some reason though, I just can't seem to work with that tip and that consistency. So it is a great glue if it's something that you can get used to, but for me, I have found the best adhesive to replace my Helmar glue is the Barely Art glue. So it's the glue that has that adorable little bear on it here. So it comes in 2 different sizes. We have the mini bottle here, and then it also has a larger version. And what I like about this liquid adhesive is that Kind of like the Helmar glue, it does dry clear. It's a great consistency. It's not too thick, not too thin, and I love the various tips it comes with. So you'll notice this bottle here, when it arrives to you, it comes with just this solid lid, but it also comes with all of these various tips that you can change depending on what you need. So we're going to replace that top with one that looks like this. So this nozzle here will allow us to insert various tips. I use the fine tip. So I think even for those little teeny pieces, the fine tip is enough, and it's going to go on just like that. If you prefer though, they do have an ultra fine tip, and it's just one of these little tips that has, you know, like a screw, just a screw on tap there, and then that's what that ultra fine tip looks like. That would work great with your smaller die cuts as well, but I have actually found that just the fine tip is perfect. Now it also comes with a straight pin, so in case that tip ever gets clogged, you can clean that out easily with your straight pin. Honestly, I have never had a need for it because one of the things I love about this glue is that it doesn't really dry or get clogged. I think the big thing to remember with this glue is that it has a green cap that it comes with, and to make sure you always put that on. I even put it on in between times of gluing die cuts. So if I know it's going to sit there for more than about 60 seconds, I go ahead and put that tip on so that I don't get that clear coating that seals up that nozzle. So I'll automatically put that on. The biggest thing is you always want to make sure that it dries clear and that it's acid free. Both of those are with the Barely Art glue. So we've introduced that now to our website. So we have all of the Barely Art glue available on our website. And I'm going to show you just a little video of how I use this Barely Art glue when I'm putting together die cuts. So again, I'm going to use the Barely Art liquid glue, and notice that it has the green cap on it so that it doesn't dry up. I'm going to take the cap off, and then I am going to use just a very small amount on the back of our red piece here of our Mickey die cut. Don't squeeze it because we want it to just barely flow out, and it will do that on its own. Now I keep a napkin close so that I can dab off any excess so that we don't have any ooze. And then I'm going to put down that bigger piece. Now I'm going to show you what to do with these smaller buttons here. Again, don't squeeze it. We're going to use just a small amount. We're going to dab it off, any excess, and then we're going to put it in place. Now if it does happen to ooze, I just take the tips of my tweezers and clean that out. That way we're cleaning up all of that excess so that we make sure we don't have any shine even from any extra glue. So again, don't squeeze. We're going to let it flow out, dab off any excess, put down our smaller piece, and then we're going to clean up anything that oozes from the sides. Andrea, I hope that answered your question on what liquid glue do I use to adhere those smaller pieces. I definitely suggest giving the Barely Art liquid glue a try if you haven't already. You might want to start with the mini bottle, but I think in no time you'll want the larger one. Thanks for the question. Until next Wednesday, happy scrapping!